Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And this is Marketing Planning, and I'm your teacher, Dr. Wang. Last week, we talked about what is marketing strategy and how to conduct a marketing strategy plan. And this week, we are going to learn something more practical. It's called STP strategy. So, what is STP strategy? Before we start, I would like to show you a small case. And does any one of you guys know about this brand? It's called Wang Lao Ji. It's quite famous in China, and it's a drink, a soft drink, just like in the picture in the left. And the packaging of this product is quite normal, but a little bit different from a traditional soft drink, such as Coca-Cola or Sprite or Fanta. It's a unique product classification in China. Actually, it's a kind of tea, but more like herbal tea. I'm not sure if you drink tea before or if you like it. Actually, herbal tea tastes more, actually has a characteristic taste compared with common teas, such as black tea or green tea. Like Coca-Cola, in their advertisement, you can never find that this product is just for a certain group of people. Everyone is there targeting consumers, right, for Coca-Cola. But this brand, Wang Lao Ji, it has a more specific targeting. Actually, when you see herbal, it's more related to your health, right? And their focus is, if you are afraid of inflammation, then you can drink this. Now I believe you can find there is something different with other brands of soft drinks, right? And first, it seems that Wang Lao Ji doesn't aim to gain all the potential customers in the whole soft drink market. Actually, it makes a new market segment in China, a market for herbal tea soft drink. And second, their product has a clear definition and applicable situation, like what they said in their slogan, in case of inflammation. So that's a quite attractive slogan in China, because in Chinese traditional opinion, if you eat something spicy or fried or grilled, even though it's delicious, you are more likely to get inflammation. So the slogan just tells you that you can drink this to avoid inflammation and eat whatever you want with your friends, with no fear and no worry. So that provides a perfect situation for their product. And by the way, you can give it a try. This tastes not bad. And now, from this case, I believe you have learned something but are still curious that what is STP after all. Let's say STP means segment, targeting, and positioning. And now we can go back to the case at first. It's obviously a typical and successful case for STP strategy. It's clear that Wang Lao Ji selected a new market segment, and then it made a clear targeting to whom to sell their products, and finally promoted a suitable product for consumers in this market segment. And here I would like to show you a small footage about Alibaba. So let's see what their strategy is, STP strategy.
Shopping usually involves one of two options: go to the store or buy it online. These days, more and more people are opting for the box on their doorstep, which is putting a squeeze on traditional brick-and-mortar retail. But when online shopping can't quite deliver, you need to go to the store. The experience can be frustrating and disappointing. Online or offline, These cannot be the only options. Well, in China, a new form of retail is taking shape that's combining the best of both online and offline retail. Alibaba, the company best known for its online marketplace, is leading the way. For them, the future isn't total domination of e-commerce. Rather, it's the complete digitization of all commerce that could be the key to saving traditional retail. The company simply refers to this as new retail. It's already helping even the most traditional retail models adapt to a new digital world in unexpected, creative ways. Why not start with the supermarket? Let's face it, no one really enjoys the process of grocery shopping. But ordering online isn't perfect either. Some things you want to pick yourself, and life can't always accommodate a delivery window. Enter Hema, Alibaba's designed-from-scratch grocery store for modern times, customized the way consumers want to shop for food. The shopping experience is powered by your mobile phone. Scan and find out what you're buying. You can buy groceries, or eat in with the freshest seafood that's instantly prepared for you. And best of all, you can have your groceries and cooked seafood all delivered to you in as quickly as 30 minutes, if you're lucky enough to live within a 3-kilometer radius of Hema. That's because every Hema store doubles as a distribution center. The model is so popular in China that people are actually moving to live near Hema locations. Another traditional sales model that's getting an Alibaba new retail upgrade: buying cars, big showrooms and lots. That process was designed decades ago. It forces you to spend a lot of time going here and there, one dealer to another. Well, Alibaba is working to redesign the experience, bringing many brands of cars to the consumers to try, without the sales pressure. Behold the auto vending machine. The so-called vending machine model allows consumers to browse models on their smartphones and select the ones they want to test drive, in and out. Experience the car first, then talk to the salesperson. Even the local mom-and-pop convenience stores can get a new retail makeover. These stores, which are the lifeblood of many communities, probably haven't changed much since the mid-'80s and aren't as convenient as they need to be for today's shoppers. Meet the Huangs, the proud owners of this convenience store in Hangzhou, China. Their store used to look like this. Now it looks like this. But the real transformation is the store has gone digital. Alibaba created a special mobile app which provides the Huangs consumer analytics of their store. They can then use the app to order the items most likely to sell directly from one source and avoid having to deal with multiple distributors. This means the shop in your neighborhood is more likely to have what you are looking for. For the ultimate new retail test, let's head to the mall. Yes, the one that everyone predicts is dying. Alibaba is up for this challenge too, and has even been investing in some of China's biggest shopping malls. You buy a pair of jeans, but it's not the right fit and your size isn't in stock. No problem. This store is fitted out with a virtual shelf. Just select the one you want. Scan with your Tmall app and have it delivered to your home. No need to stand in line at the checkout. Even a pit stop to the ladies' room can be a new retail experience. While you wait, check yourself out in the magic mirror and experiment with new makeup colors, virtually. Like what you see? Buy it from vending machines and freshen up your look. From ladies' room to makeup lounge. The possibilities for new retail are endless once you erase the lines between online and offline and reimagine it based on the way consumers actually want to shop. The key to saving traditional retail is to forget about tradition altogether.
Well, Alibaba may be not the first, but certainly it is the most successful e-commerce company in China. or even in the world. And in the last 2 years, there is a new brand from Alibaba. It's called Homa. This is a classical one for understanding STP strategy, a new segment at first. In traditional retail industry, you can learn that from the video. And it's quite clear that Homa focuses on people who pay attention to the quality of life. And accordingly, their products aim to provide this quality for people living in modernized city. And for now, I believe all of you are aware of what is STP. So please remember these 3 keywords: segment, targeting, and positioning. And now let's see the position of STP in the progress of the whole marketing plan. And here is a flow diagram in this page. There are 8 stages of the process of a marketing plan. And we've showed this picture several times before, so I won't spend too much time on this again. So it's quite clear that STP is the first step about marketing planning at the product level. So it means that when you are ready to transform your marketing objectives into real products, then the first step you should take is a STP strategy. And here, this flowchart shows us the 3 steps of an STP strategy. First, market segmentation. In this step, you should identify a market and use the results of analysis you have conducted to divide this market into different segments. And then use the information you have to determine important characteristics of each market segment. For example, let's take Wang Laoji. And Wang Laoji subtly identified this segment of herbal tea in soft drink market and gave it an attractive definition. The second step, market targeting. In this step, you should evaluate every segment and choose one with the most attractive characteristics or potential profit. And third, product positioning. We have learned a lot about positioning like in 4Ps model. In this step, you should develop detailed product positioning for selected segment. For example, Wang Laoji positioned their product as a healthy drink with which you can have fun with your friends without worries about inflammation. So this step helps you to highlight the selling points of your product. And now I would like to give you several questions. The first question is segmentation for product or not? Not for product. Okay, this is quite simple but also important. If you recheck the last page, the first step of STP is segmentation. But what segmentation? It's a marketing segmentation, so the answer should be wrong, because segmentation is for market, not for product. And another question for segmentation. The basis of segmentation is the difference on consumer. Okay, another question. The basis of segmentation is the difference on consumer needs. So right or wrong? Well, it depends. Before we answer this question, we should know that there are 2 types of market. One is homogeneous market, which refers to a market where the products treated are similar. The other is heterogeneous market, and in this market, consumers have different needs or requirements for the products. So then it's clear, if a market is heterogeneous, then you can segment it based on difference of consumers' needs. But if it is not, then you should find other ways for segmentation. Okay, now let's look at this question. Segmentation is the segmenting on what? Here are three options, which one we should choose. And it's obviously both, right? Because as we mentioned in last page, perhaps we can segment the heterogeneous markets by different needs, but for homogeneous market, it doesn't mean we don't have to or can't segment. We should find other ways to help us segment the market, because only by segmentation can we go to the next step, aka targeting. So that leads to this important question. How can we segment the given market? So here I provide 8 ways to help you make segmentation. So it includes demographics, psychographics, lifestyles, belief and values, life stages, geography, behavior, and benefits. So what are these factors? Let's go through them one by one. First, demographics. So we mentioned this important factor before several times, and it is very helpful in a lot of occasions. Here I list several indicators of this factor, such as age, gender, income, education, so on. Let's still take Homa as example. If you remember, this brand is for young people who live in a big city and chase for a high quality of life. So accordingly, we can find at least 2 indicators from the demographic perspective, such as age and income, because this brand is for young people, right? So it's age, and with high likelihood they have a high salary, right? So, and second, psychographics. This is kind of complicated and abstract compared with demographics. This factor refers to factors related to one's personality and emotions, which can be reflected by behavior, especially purchasing behavior and attitude. Still, we take Homa as examples. The preference here, I would like to say, this brand emphasized that chasing a high quality of life is quite attractive to young people, especially their consuming preferences are shaped by outside advertising. And lifestyle, of course, different people have a different understanding of lifestyle. So this provides us the opportunity to segment the market with different customers. And then belief and values. This is quite abstract because here in China, people are highly secularized. We have the largest population of atheists. But still, we can find there are a lot of factors related to the politics or culture. And let's move to the next one, life stage. So we often hear this phrase. It's called midlife crisis, right? It's pathetic, but inevitably, people's lives at different stages call for different needs, especially needs for consuming. And now the last 3, geography. It's quite easy to use this factor to make segmentation because most indicators of this factor are obvious and unchangeable. Next one, behavior. Well, this one is the most complicated and unpredictable factor. It refers to the nature of the purchase, brand loyalty, usage level, benefits sought, distribution channels used, and reaction to marketing factors, all the behaviors underlying these activities. And the last one, benefit. This is quite clear. It refers to what kind of utilization you are going to provide to your potential consumers. Okay, here is a graph about how to segment the market from the consumer perspective. Basically, the segmentation is conducted by these 3 types of considerable issues, including the 8 factors we've mentioned before. And here I would like to spend some time on the segmentation from the organizational perspective. It's different from the consumer perspective, like this page shows. And generally, it's for B2B market. It means when your consumers are other companies, then you segment your market in this way. And here are some factors that you can use to help you segment organizational markets. Just have a basic knowledge about this part. Generally, we don't have to consider this situation. This course mainly focuses on consumer markets. Okay, now here is another question. The segmentation of urban market and rural market is based on which factor? And of course, this is quite simple. It is based on geography, right? And the next question. The user's usage report belongs to which factor? So what is user's usage report? Let's go back to the page 15, right? Here. It's obviously behavioral issue, right? So the answer is behavior. And now this question is quite practical. It's from a real case about a successful dairy product in China. It's called 酸酸乳, and since we know that it means its main consumer group is the girls between 14 to 18, then this segmentation is based on which factor? This is quite simple, right? Age and gender. I would like to say that these two factors are the most used factors when segmenting the market. There are a lot, you can name it, like makeup products, video games, and so on, right? Okay, now let's check this question. It's also a simple one. Occupation. It belongs to demographics. Okay, now the last question. Here is a table about how a cell phone company segmenting its market. The first one is about age. So definitely it belongs to demographic factor. And the same for gender and income. The last one is about frequency of purchase. So it should be behavioral factor. Now, so now by this set of questions, I believe you guys now have a better understanding of what market segmentation is and how to use it. And then let's have a practice. I'm not sure if you guys like eating spicy food, but here in China, we have quite a lot of people who are addicted to spice. Chili sauce. This is a normal product, and you almost can find it in every supermarket in China. But before you buy it, you need to pay attention where it comes from, because the taste is totally different if it comes from different provinces. For example, chili sauce from Hunan province, it tastes more simply spicy and has a very sharp taste in your mouth. But chili sauce from Sichuan province, it tastes not only spicy but also numbing, which means your mouth will not only feel burned but also tingled. So now let's see, if you want to sell one of these two products, how should you segment your market based on different potential consumers? Just to think about it. The answer is no right or wrong. Okay, now let's move to the next part. After segmentation, then how should we target the market? Now here are three pictures about market, and the first picture shows a natural state of a market. It's disaggregated, kind of messy, and unsorted, and a lot of consumers are randomly distributed in this market, even we know their characteristics. And the second picture, after we segment this market, it looks much more organized. we can use the 8 factors to help us segment the market by dividing these consumers into different groups. Consumers in the same group also have the similar characteristics, and different groups stand for different segments of this market. And now the third picture. This picture shows us that how to target the market. We need to find which market segment is the most attractive one, and then choose it as our targeting. Okay, now for market targeting. Here is a list about how to evaluate each segment's potential and commercial attractiveness. The first indicator is criteria size. This requires that the market should be of enough size, because if the market is too small, then the segment is obviously not profitable. And the second indicator is difference. It should be measurable, that we can differentiate the segments. If each segment is too similar, then it means the segmentation has not been done properly. And the third one is money. The ultimate goal for every commercial company is to make money. So there should be anticipated profits more than the costs by additional marketing plans or other changes. So the fourth indicator is about accessibility. The segment should be accessible. It means that your company can get information from and send messages to the segment. And the last indicator is a focus on different benefits. So different segments must need different benefits. Then you can choose which one is the most attractive based on your mission and marketing objectives. And here I list 4 basic strategies for targeting the market segment. So it's called undifferentiated marketing, differentiated marketing, focused marketing, and customized marketing. The first one, undifferentiated marketing strategy. So this strategy means that your company only promotes a single product and use this product and its marketing strategy to attract consumers in the whole market. So when you think that there is little difference among all the segments, you may consider using this strategy. And then the second strategy, so differentiated strategy. This generally happens in large companies. It means that a company provides different products and their according marketing strategies based on each segment's characteristics. So this is quite difficult because most companies don't have this ability to provide different products and different marketing strategies to gain consumers with different needs. It will cost a lot. For example, Coca-Cola. It has so many series of soft drink products, and each one has its own marketing strategies and facing different consumers from different segments. So this strategy has advantages and disadvantages at the same time. The good side of this strategy is you can significantly expand your sales by this strategy and gain competitive advantages over your competitors. But the bad side of this strategy is it costs so much, and once you can't maintain your cash flow, it will lead to substantial failures. Okay, now the third strategy, focused marketing strategy. So this means that you have already identified with several segments in the whole market, but you find only one of them is potentially attractive, or you can only handle with one of them based on your limited resources. So then you may consider using this strategy, aka providing a single product to a focused segment using according marketing strategies, just like Wang Laoji did, right? And the last one is customized marketing strategy. So this is obvious that this is not suitable for all the companies. This is only useful for the company which provides products with high additional value. So this strategy needs your company to provide different products to different consumers to meet their needs and requirements. For example, those companies in cultural and the creative industry or in luxury industry, let's say Vera Wang, one of the most famous designers of a wedding dress. So it's her name and also her brand's name. It is a typical example for this strategy. I've heard that news that if you want to buy a customized wedding dress of Vera Wang, you need to pay more than $20,000 and wait for at least 2 years. Okay, now the last part about product positioning. Well, product positioning is a marketing technique intended to present products in the best possible light to different target audiences. So here are at least 4 basic rules for product positioning: clarity, consistency, credibility, and competitiveness. So here is a graph about successful positioning, and it should include these 4 basic elements. Let me explain them one by one. And the first, clarity. It means that your product positioning should be clear enough, and your potential consumers can easily get the characteristics contained in your product. And the second one is consistency. So it means that you need to make sure what you advertise and what you can provide by your product should be consistent. And credibility. Of course, you should provide a reliable product, and based on which, then you need to send messages with no exaggeration about your product to the potential consumers. So the last one, competitiveness. There is no doubt that you need to make sure the product itself its matched marketing strategies are competitive compared with other brands. And now I would like to give you an example about Southwest Airlines. So let's check out why it is attractive for customers.
Hello, Jet Setters. I'm Jeb Brooks with GreenerGrass.com.
And I'm Gary Kelly, CEO of Southwest Airlines.
So I've got to ask you, Gary, why are people so obsessed with your airline?
Because our people are the best, they offer the greatest service at the lowest price, bags fly free, and there's freedom and justice for all.
Well, we're about to find out because I'm flying Southwest. Let's check it out. This is one of the most requested videos I've ever made. So I asked the Twitter sphere what makes the airline so special. I got a ton of responses. It's clear people love Southwest, perhaps none more so than their own employees. And since bags fly for free on Southwest, let's check this one in. My 1.5-hour flight from Raleigh to Tampa looked to be on time, so I explored the gate area a bit. Now, Southwest does not offer lounges. The good news about that? No lounge coffee. Espresso. Southwest's boarding process is a real differentiator for the airline. You won't have a seat assignment on a Southwest flight. You're free instead to choose any available seat on the plane. You're assigned a place in line rather than a seat, and the earlier you check in, the better your spot in line. Prior to boarding, passengers line up according to their assigned spot, and gate agents begin the process. You can guarantee an earlier spot by either buying a Business Select ticket or upgrading your boarding position, which guarantee that you'll have one of the first spots in line. This unique procedure is designed to reduce the amount of time Southwest planes are on the ground. After all, a plane that's sitting at a gate is not a plane that's generating revenue for an airline. It's important for you to know that this video, like all of my videos, abides by my sponsorship policy. I'll link to it here and in the description, but you can always check it out at jeb.flights/sponsors. That outlines exactly how I work with sponsors. This is not a sponsored video. Shortly, my airplane arrived from Nashville. The ground crew got to work turning the airplane around with typical Southwest Airlines efficiency. By the way, if you haven't seen it, please check out the video I made about the secret life of your luggage. The teams that work down here on the ramp are some hard-working professionals. I'll link it here. Boarding is always exciting, particularly when it's on an airline I haven't flown in such a long time. Now, as I mentioned, this is not a sponsored video, but the Southwest team did learn I'd be on the flight and offered me the opportunity to pre-board in order to get some extra footage to share with you. However, I paid for my ticket, so my opinions are, as always, my own. This 737-700 offers 143 17-inch wide seats with 31 inches of pitch. And yes, this should do it just behind the wing. Love watching a wing work its magic. These seats don't offer power or built-in entertainment. Southwest does offer streaming in-flight entertainment, which we'll look at once we get in the air, but be sure all of your devices are powered up. There's a standard tray table and plenty of room for my backpack under the seat. And because passengers can check 2 bags for free, the overhead bins don't fill up as quickly as on other airlines. Each seat has a passenger service unit with a light, individual air vents, and a flight attendant call button. And once I'd settled in, I began to have the same thought as most every solo Southwest passenger. Who's going to take the seat next to mine? A few minutes later, after I sat down, a gentleman joined me in the aisle seat. And then, shortly after that, the greatest announcement known to man. Boarding complete. And nobody had taken that middle seat. I'd just gotten a free upgrade.
Upright one position, and all your carry-on items tucked completely under the seat sizing in that area restroom.
Unlike other airlines, if you need to change your flight, all you'll pay with Southwest is the difference in fare, if there is any. Other airlines charge fees of as much as $200 to change. Oh, and if you cancel, you'll get a credit to use in the future. Internet access is available for a fee or for free for some members of Southwest's frequent flyer program. But movies and live TV are available at no cost to everybody. Now, I ended up with split-screen entertainment. I watched Ocean's 11 on my iPad and the world through the window. Drinks are available for purchase, and free snacks, that's a small package of pretzels, are provided to passengers. Southwest doesn't sell food on their plane, so if you're flying on one of their longer routes, be sure to bring your own food. If you want to fly with Southwest, you'll have to head over to southwest.com. You cannot book them using other travel websites. I had a great trip with Southwest. They're a no-frills airline, and in a way, a bit of a paradox. On one hand, every seat is the same, but at the same time, because of the way they board, you never know exactly which one you'll get, so there's a bit of excitement there. The crew on this flight were very friendly and customer-focused, which, in my opinion, is what makes or breaks a flight. Now, I remembered a lot more jokes from my last Southwest crew, but that was 10 years ago or more. This was a 6-smile flight. Happy employees, free bags, open seating, an empty middle seat, free entertainment, great crew. What's not to love? And I can understand why so many people are obsessed. But the even better question is why I took this flight in the first place. Let's go back to Southwest CEO Gary Kelly for the answer. I had a great flight on Southwest. I got to say thank you to you and your team.
I'm glad that we served you well, sir.
You
Thanks
did.
for your business.
But I think a pressing question is, why in the world am I sitting with you, the CEO of Southwest?
Well, Jeb, this is a great event. This is the Tony Janis Award. And one thing that they do every year is the Tony Janis Society raises money for some very deserving scholars. So they're giving away 6 awards tonight. And we're also here to honor the latest Tony Janis Award winner, which is Dr. Thomas Enders, former CEO for Airbus.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, having Gary Kelly in front of me and on stage reminds me of one of my biggest failures in my business life. Despite all my efforts, we have not managed to sell a single Airbus to Southwest.
I'm a member of the society and a very proud one at that, and we're the #1 airline here in Tampa, by the way. So it's always a great opportunity for me to be back here in the Tampa Bay area.
Be sure to subscribe because I've got a video coming up about the Janus Award and the legacy. For those that don't know, the very first commercial flight in world history took place right here. So coming soon, a video about that. But I always end my videos in a way that I'm sure Gary is intimately familiar with a little catchphrase.
See you in the sky on Southwest.
Well played. Thanks so much. This was great. I really appreciate it.
Okay, at last, now it's time for your teamwork again, and I need you guys to conduct an STP analysis for a cell phone market using what you've learned today. And please send your homework to me in the form of a PowerPoint, and the deadline is 1st April, 2 weeks later. Okay, please remember it's not an April Fool's Day joke. Everyone in the team should list your division or contribution to the homework in the PowerPoint. Okay, that's it, and good luck. If you have any problem, please contact me by WeChat or email. And at last, I would like to show you a footage about Xiaomi's marketing strategy, and I hope it can help with your homework.
This video was sponsored by Skillshare. You might have recently seen headlines like this, declaring that Xiaomi is a sort of communistic charity club for voluntarily giving up all of its profits above 5%. And if anything in you went like, wait a second, that's not how anything in capitalism works, then congratulations, your bullshit detectors are working. I'm Martin from Tech Altar, you're watching the 34th episode of the Story Behind series, and let me untangle this fascinating PR campaign, because that's what this actually is. Okay, so the first question is, why does Xiaomi voluntarily limit its profits to just 5%? The answer is to make more money. Sounds confusing, but it isn't. There are really three pillars of the Xiaomi business model. 70% of their revenues come from phones, a bit over 20% from the rest of their hardware stuff, like air purifiers, power banks, and internet routers, and the final 9% come from what the company calls internet services. These include things like a music subscription service, a cloud storage service, a Xiaomi app store, advertisement on their phones, and so on. Xiaomi's CEO only vowed to keep net profits of the first two categories below 5%, but not the third one. Now you might be saying that given their weight, that's kind of the same thing, but it's not. See, Xiaomi calls itself primarily an internet company. They said so in their IPO documents. In fact, they have consistently said so since their launch, and they even claim that one of the meanings of their name is mobile internet. So why would they choose to focus on this small part of their business? Because they are a for-profit company, not a charity club. See, here's a comparison between the gross margins of hardware and services in Xiaomi. And gross margins don't even include things like marketing expenses, taxes, overhead costs, and so on. Xiaomi probably actively loses money on hardware, while margins on internet services are pretty healthy. Making smartphone hardware is a pretty lousy business, because still only Apple and Samsung have figured out how to make a proper profit out of it. But making internet services is a fantastic business, as Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Alibaba, Tencent, and a million other very profitable internet services companies have proven. So Xiaomi desperately wants investors to think that their main business is making internet services. The difference is that traditional phone companies try to make their profits when the customer buys the hardware, and then largely leave customers alone when they use their phone. While Xiaomi accepts basically zero profit from the hardware purchase, but then tries to make money from their customers during the usage period. Now, to me, this sounds like the hardware equivalent of freemium software. We used to pay for software outright, but then companies figured out that giving it away for free at first and then making money from the users later by making them pay for a subscription or loot boxes or showing them ads is a great business. Xiaomi making no profits on hardware is essentially the same as Google and Facebook giving away their services for free or Amazon discounting phones that have lock screen ads on them. It's not charity or communism, it's a business model. Okay, question 2, why do I think this was a brilliant PR campaign? Well, I hope it's pretty clear by now that Xiaomi never really made or wanted to make money from their hardware anyway, because higher phone profits means fewer users, less money from services, and finally, lower profits overall. So the 5% limit is artificial and wouldn't have been meaningfully passed anyway. This was just a statement, not a change in their business model. But with this statement, they convinced consumers who never read past a flashy headline that Xiaomi is just a benign, trustworthy company that just doesn't want high profits, but also investors who totally do get business models that Xiaomi is an internet company with much better profit potentials than simple hardware makers. One statement that in reality didn't change anything makes consumers more likely to buy Xiaomi phones and investors more likely to invest into Xiaomi. Good PR can create value out of seemingly thin air. And the third question then is how low hardware profits work in practice. Well, internet services and freemium apps have kind of shown us the blueprint already. This kind of business has two goals: acquiring as many new customers as possible and then making sure that those customers spend as much time and money on the platform as possible. Obviously, low hardware prices do the magic for step 1, but step 2 is all about software. Namely MIUI, the company's own version of Android. And it's no wonder that Xiaomi takes its software so seriously. People must love this UI, become loyal to it, and spend as much time with it as possible for Xiaomi to be able to sell them their services or serve them ads. And this business model has good and bad sides for consumers. The good stuff is that Xiaomi, unlike most Android phone makers, actually has financial incentives to frequently update their phones and give them relatively long software support. Xiaomi has also built a large and engaged online community around the MIUI where people can do things like vote for features to be put into MIUI. On the bad side though, Xiaomi is also incentivized to push its own software even if it means duplicating apps or creating bloatware, and like any other freemium software player, Xiaomi has incentives to invade your privacy and lock you into their ecosystem, because you have to keep paying those subscription fees and seeing those ads for as long as possible for this model to work. And the last question is, will this work? And while I find Xiaomi's business model new and genuinely exciting, I also think that from a purely business perspective, there are a few weaknesses here. First of all, at 9%, the profitable part of Xiaomi is very small, which means that right now, Xiaomi's strategy isn't really working. People are happy to buy cheap Xiaomi hardware, but most of them don't want to pay for Xiaomi services. Even the company itself admitted that they have to increase this rate, but the last quarter, the opposite happened, where hardware grew significantly faster than services at Xiaomi. Not a good sign. The services business is also relatively small. Just for scale, Xiaomi made $1.5 billion from services last year, while Apple made over $9 billion in just the last quarter. And that's on top of the massive revenue and profits Apple has made from hardware. So Xiaomi has to grow their services business significantly to reach a truly global scale. Second, Xiaomi's business model has only been proven in China. It sort of works there because Google services, including the Google Play Store, are blocked in China, so people are often happy to use the services from their smartphone maker, even alternative app stores. But as Xiaomi is becoming increasingly international, it will have to compete against Google. Google apps are installed on nearly all international phones, which instantly makes Xiaomi apps less useful, so there will be lower engagement and lower income per user, and customers might even be annoyed by duplicate apps, instead preferring a phone with clean stock Android. It's kind of enough to have Google spying on you and filling up your phone with crap apps that you've never asked to use, but getting this treatment from two companies at once is not a great experience. In fact, Xiaomi did ask their users in a poll what they preferred, and embarrassingly enough, their own fans voted for stock Android. And then Xiaomi deleted the poll. Ouch. And the third problem is that people who buy cheap phones also tend to use cheap or even free software, which is not what Xiaomi needs. So in order for Xiaomi's business model to work, the company has to invest a lot of money into making really premium phones like the Xiaomi Mi Mix and attract more wealthy consumers, and then also make internet services that truly outclass those of Google. Not an easy task for a company on such tight margins as Xiaomi. But none of that makes Xiaomi's fantastic PR move any less impressive. Tech enthusiasts often see PR and marketing as mysterious or magical forces, but the concepts that make it all work are fairly easy to understand if you know where to look. Like this excellent course on branding from Skillshare that I can personally recommend to my viewers. Skillshare is an awesome online learning community with more than 20,000 classes on basically any topic you can think of, from marketing and business to graphic design and photography and much more. With 2 months of free premium access for Tech Altar viewers, you can get unlimited access to all of their classes, so whether you are a geek trying to understand business, or someone in business who is interested in technology, or just someone who wants to learn a new skill to start doing the work you love,